to disperse or come back in towards the town center. You soon are on your way to the through the town square. Luster tells you, "I'll go and explain to everyone. You carry on to the house. You must be tired from your journey." You want to do that?
Sure.
Okay. So he goes to explain to the curious townspeople what the heck just went on. In the meantime, you head with your unconscious brother-in-law down towards the Von Wonderful household.
It looks like I did a shit job, but I did really good. That's my position.
You did the most damage.
I tried my very hardest right up until I got crit.
That went for burst damage. You just went for sustain.
Alright.
No credit. So came back the one who was dead.
Kill shot.
No credit. Came back the one dead. 1 second, I have to open a few things. Who do I got already? Carrie, Charm, I need Brontes.
Who's Carrie?
Grandma.
Oh.
Carolyn.
Oh, that's right.
Dunstan, Current, heal your uncle, please.
You want to say that as you come up?
Sure.
Alright, as you approach the Von Wonderful house, the wagon is parked out front, and Brontes is getting the animals unhitched and taken off and fed, and Grandma is there chatting with your parents.
Harford and...
I
think it's Lucretia?
Yes, Harford and Lucretia, chatting with them about what's going on. As soon as you walk into the area, Bianca, with an unconscious brilliance, Harford and Lucretia come over with concern. Lucretia gushing over her poor boy, poor boy. Harford, why did you teach them to adventure? That sort of thing. And you tell the kids to come and deal with their uncle?
I did swimmingly right up until it ate me. Then things went a little south quickly.
Dunstan heals you for 4 damage.
Okay, sweet.
No, 4 per day? Oh yeah, 4 HP per day.
No, because did you buy him? Did he get bought 4? Or does he have?
That's what I'm asking.
Because it's 2 per, right?
Here it's written you wrote 4 per day.
Yeah, I just need to grab my book. I'm pretty sure it's that he's got the 2 and therefore.
Total is 4 per day.
But I'll double check it.
That's 4 per day. So just take 4.
Okay.
While he double checks.
Up at
Fix it if that's not the case.
I'm to -2.
Yep. And Current, I don't know if Current has healing, does she?
She's got a spell point in Divine.
That's right. She's got Cure Light Wounds. Little baby-sized Cure Light Wounds. She heals you for 2.
Oh, I'm at 0.
There we go. Throw my dice on the floor. Alright, so you're at 0. Mom, you didn't get up! Yells Current.
Dad.
Is he dead? Uncle, no!
Dunstan does have more. It's 4 purchased lay on hands.
Oh wow.
4 purchased lay on
2,
hands.
4, 6, 8. You can
So
do.
you can heal 8. Alright, well then I'm going to change how that reads. Get 8 HP per day.
3,000 per, and it looks like he spent 12,000.
For heaven. That's a lot. There you go. So you're healed an additional 4.
Oh, sweet. I'm up at 4.
The kids are shaking you. Wake up, Uncle! Wake up!
It's fine. I'm up.
Yeah, he's alive, says Current. Dunstan seems pleased with himself.
Good job, kids. Well done, little ones.
You notice you're at home. Your mother's wordly standing over you.
That's fine.
That's what she does.
Yeah. Hello, mother.
You come home, and this is how you come home.
It was all going very well.
You come home bleeding.
Was I bleeding?
Yes.
Oh. Sorry, Mummy.
Come here.
We beat the monster up.
It's just not good
I
enough.
assume.
Yes, I finished it off shortly after you tried.
Oh, good. Monster defeated then. Job well done.
Right. With your mother doting upon you.
Sorry, Mummy.
You
all right.
are able to look around the old homestead. You see that the house here on the banks of the sort of the larger pool that's usually at the base of the waterfalls, the property's not looking so well. Even though there's usually a lot of roses and things growing here, even this early in the season, because of the influence of one of your younger brothers. So a lot of the plant life here seems to be sort of doing poorly. Particularly closer to the banks of the river, which you notice the water table is just incredibly low. Like,
What
in
happened to the river?
it's all brackish, brown, gross looking, sort of a native smell coming off of it. And the waterfall, well, it's just not as wonderful as it usually is. It's a little sad. It's not good looking. It's still there. It's just, it's not like a tiny trickle because it's a huge waterfall, but it's sad.
Compared to what it usually would be.
Compared to the roar it would usually be.
Whatever has happened to the river?
Well, your father says. Well, the showman's been trying to figure that out, son. Harford. Right. The shaman's been trying to figure it out, son. In fact, there's a town meeting tonight on the issue. She's going to summon up the river spirit and find out what's what. She's been preparing for the ceremony all day.
Oh, well, good.
Yes, and hopefully we'll see what's about. It's about a week ago, 2 weeks ago perhaps, there was sort of a big surge of water, more than usual. Gave us a little bit of a flood in the front step, and then after that, almost nothing.
Really?
Yes.
How
Well, look at it, it's sad.
How unusual.
Usually this time of year. Practically have to put up some sandbags to stop it getting in the basement, but not this year.
No.
And it's
Positively piteous right now.
yes, we've been boiling it. We don't quite appreciate the smell it's giving off.
No.
No,
Something's amiss.
something's certainly amiss. Certainly amiss upstream, and we're paying the price for it.
Yes. And the weird burping, corrupted fish monster.
Yes, why don't you tell us about that? Come on in.
if
So
if you would, you understand more about it than I do.
the Reisender and the
My responsibility.
wonderful clan then pour into the large kitchen, sit around the table and get ready to hear what the creature wants to convey.
Sure.
Okay. You explain the creature in detail.
Ah.
Well, my dear, that sounds like it could have been a spirit, doesn't it?
That's what I was thinking.
It does. But a very odd way for a spirit to behave.
Well, I honestly think it may have been sick, but when I tried to heal it, it attacked me, so even if it was just a sick spirit, then why was it so
Sounds
violent?
like it could have been a corrupt spirit, says Carolyn.
What's that?
Well, when a spirit's form dies, but it persists after death, then sometimes you will find corrupted spirits.
Its form dies.
The tree that houses the spirit, or whatever it is. Usually spirits pass peacefully when whatever houses them goes away, but if they choose to cling to life, then they often become corrupted or maddened.
Oh. Well, that could be bad.
It doesn't happen very often, it's really very incredibly rare, but it would explain why the tea spirits were upset, because it is generally known that it's sort of an infectious sort of disease.
Oh.
You don't think it was the river, was it?
Oh, it couldn't
It could-
possibly.
We couldn't have fought the river itself.
Of course, that's what I was thinking as well, but now I'm a little worried. I mean, what with all the fish and the water and the like.
Yes.
I mean, what other large bodies of water would be able to create a spirit quite so tactile?
Hard to say, I suppose.
Well, says Lucretia.
Yeah.
Well, actually, we do have other sorts of water spirits that are sort of, part and parcel of the river. There's always the rapids spirit, the spirit of the waterfall itself. I mean, we don't usually commune with them, but I suppose they're there. All of them would be sickened, I assume, as well, if the river spirit's dying.
Or at least having a lot of trouble.
Yes.
Right. Well, that could be a problem then. As we did cause it to go away.
Well, if it's gone, it's gone. Really no concern of ours.
No, not particularly, but might have been a slightly
Well, as long
bad
as
thing.
Well, no, not necessarily. I mean, as long as it wasn't the river,
Right.
right? Once the river returns, the rapids will return because it's a geological thing. A new spirit would come up, right?
Right. And I maintain my stance that we couldn't have defeated the river itself.
I agree. It would be very unlikely, says Carolyn, that you could possibly kill the river spirit itself.
Well, thanks, Mom.
I mean,
It's a river, dear. As soon kill a mountain. I mean, I'm very proud of you, but don't be silly.
let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Not saying I want to, I'm just joking.
But corrupted spirits are very dangerous. They can badly infect an area, and they only really appear when something is quite wrong.
Huh.
We should really keep an eye out for more of the beasts.
Mm-hmm, for sure. And if it's infectious, we need to keep them away from the town, especially.
Hmm.
Indeed. Another thing we should keep in mind is that if indeed it is a corrupted spirit, it's there because its aspect has decayed. If we can find the aspects of these creatures, that is one way to cure them, I've heard.
Oh, well, that's good.
I suppose if we were able to heal whatever it is.
If it's possible. Sometimes it isn't.
Well, yeah, if a tree is dead, you can't really bring it back. So.
Exactly.
But these aren't tree spirits yet.
Too true. Well,
Might have
we
to-
should probably now go tend to perhaps the tree spirits.
Yes, we might need to
Since that thing was vomiting all the way through.
all the way through the woods. Might have to go and take a little adventure into forestry in the next little while and try to make sure that everything's doing all right and potentially remove the infected fish before they get into the soil.
that would probably be wise. I'm not exactly sure how the disease spreads. I'm no priestess, but
What do you know about the forest?
Well, it sounds like we need to talk to the shaman in any case.
well, you can go on a boat. And gestures to their little tiny boat that's out at their docks near the house. Now, of course, the river's not much, but it is still enough to float the canoe that we're talking about.
Okay.
The shaman lives on an island that is sitting in the split between the two directions that the river sort of winds out from the waterfall pool.
Okay.
So you would have to take the boat to go and speak to the shaman. All right. So the kids are playing with their uncle and grandma and grandpa and having a good time. And your mother sits down because she's technically the oldest person in the room, and she's pretty tired, and everyone's fairly occupied with Brontes still out tending to the animals. He's got 6 animals to look after. It's going to take him a little while. So, what do you want to do? Brilliance? In your hometown? There's so much to see, so much to do.
I think we should perhaps go and talk to the shaman. Either that or head into the forest immediately and start having a look at it. Which would you prefer?
I think we should go tell the shaman.
All right.
If she doesn't think it's necessary to remove all of the rotting dead fish, then I'd rather not have to. But she'd be the one to know, right?
Well, let's go talk to her then.
Okay.
It's a wise lady with many important things to say, presumably.
She is. She is a wise lady with many important things to say. Hey, Ellie, what is it? Oh, okay. Good night.
Good girl.
So, can any of you... Do any of you have small boat handling or the like? You can still use the canoe even without it. It's just that you'll be like any random person.
In a canoe.
Trying to have a paddle. So, just the two of you?
No, unless Charm was coming along.
No, Charm
Charm's not back yet. Charm was out, probably with Luster by now, talking to the various villagers about how they no longer need to panic.
Well, then
Sorry
yes.
for ringing the bell.
Well, then yes, just us. We're good.
Okay. You hop in your dad's boat and you begin to paddle over to the shaman's little island. It takes you a little while to get there, but you arrive after not too long. The shaman's house is just a small hut. She lives very sparsely. The grass roof almost blends in with the grassy area of the bank that she lives on. She lives very close to the edge of the river. Now, as you come up, you actually can see her. She's down at the sort of bankside, and she's sort of whispering to the water as she tends to do.
Perfectly normal behavior.
Perfectly normal shaman behavior. You both have met her. You probably chatted with her a lot. She's an older lady. Her name is Trevin. She's an ivory woodling.
Oh, cool.
And she has very still features, is how her ivory represents. She looks sort of like she's covered in a thin layer of bone everywhere. And her expression doesn't move very much. Almost ever. Think of it like it's like a white mask sort of thing.
She
But
was carved.
she looks like she's been carved, but she is able to move it a little bit. It just seems very delayed or slow.
Okay.
And she waves to you when you get closer in your boat and you awkwardly maneuver it up to the dock. She comes over and she helps you and she ties it off. That wouldn't be brilliant, swan, wonderful coming to my home, would it?
Hello, shaman. Lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you. And is this the love? No, that's not Charm. That's Bianca, isn't it? Yes. It's been a while, Bianca. Come in. I have absolutely nothing to offer you, but you can sit down. You want to go?
That's just fine.
Okay. Right. She gives you.
An audience is all we're looking for.
She gives you some stools. Her house is tiny. You can see everything she owns is just hanging on the walls or around the area. There's a campfire just in the middle of the house and a little tiny hole in the roof for smoke kind of thing. And she sits down on a mat on the floor. And as I said, she does have sort of chairs that she gives for both of you. And she sits down and warms up her hands because it is still cold outside. And she was playing around in the water. What can I do for you? I heard the bell ringing. Is everyone all right?
Yes, everyone's all right, but it's more the reason why the bell was ringing.
Tell me what you saw.
Well, and we noticed a very pungent smell in the woods. And upon some investigation, we found a very odd-looking creature. Described said creature.
Okay.
And it was heading towards the town. And we attempted maybe a corrupted spirit.
Yes, very good instincts. Your mother's taught you well. That is probably what you encountered.
Unfortunately, had to lay it to rest.
Yes, that's often the only course of action when you meet such beasts. They're very dangerous, and they can't really react like you would expect a usual spirit to, unless they're very powerful. If the one that you encountered didn't speak, then it is likely it was the spirit of some sort of aspect of water that was smaller in nature.
Tried to speak, but it wasn't able to form actual words.
No.
And I tried to heal it, but it didn't seem to have any effect.
From the sound of it, based on how it died and shooting jets of water, it might have been the spirit of a current or an eddy that no longer exists. I'm sure you've noticed that the river is sickening.
Yes.
I believe that something has occurred upstream, perhaps a rock slide or other natural disaster that is causing a blockage in the flow of the water in some way. I won't know more until we commune with the river spirit tonight. I am very concerned, however. Usually, a rock slide would not cause the tainted pollutants to be flowing in the waters of our river, as I've discovered.
Right.
I don't think that you need to concern yourself with cleaning the fish, not unless you're concerned that their spirits might be.
Well, they smelled rotten even as it was vomiting them, so presumably they're already dead.
Fish tend to be very easygoing about their deaths in any case. You don't see many fish ghosts, do you?
Riled up fish ghosts. No, not a common occurrence.
Not many angry fish ghosts swimming about, are there? No, they tend to pass on quietly. Corrupted spirits usually infect other spirits by touching them, though, so there is some concern for any trees that it staggered into. It would be wise to go and have a look. I suppose I'll have to do that. See if I can call Kino if it's necessary. Was that all you came for?
Well, we were worried. I mean,
Yes,
it's the first time seeing the corrupted spirit.
yes, the whole does seem to be just a bit of a problem about.
It is a problem, and where you see one, you'll often find more, simply because,
Balance is very delicate.
indeed, the balance of the world is very delicate, and when a powerful spirit, such as the river, is in such a bad way, then
More spirits.
more spirits associated with it will
Yes.
be in a bad way.
Trickle down effect.
Yes, as it were.
No pun intended.
Oh, you always had a way for words to become cut.
Well, I mean, we can venture into the forest and have a look. You're very occupied with getting things ready to talk to the river this evening, so we wouldn't want you to trouble yourself.
Why don't we just go talk to the woodsman? I mean, we're not going to have any more knowledge of what to look for than they would.
I
They know the area
suppose.
a lot better. Be able to look through pretty quickly.
That's true. Well then, I'll leave you to the task, and I hope you join everyone all at sunset.
Absolutely.
We'll
Wouldn't miss it.
all hear what the spirits have to say.
Wouldn't miss it.
You chat for a little while longer about this and that, and how you've been, and what the road was like, and other things of that nature, before you're finally able to step away from the shop.
Winter was ghastly.
Winter was ghastly and cold. The road was long and hard. We fought some cool monsters. And now we're here.
Yeah. The usual.
Talk about the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
The kids are
the
big,
kids are big.
and they can heal.
They're learning things. Oh yes, you're still injured, aren't you?
A little bit.
Okay. The shaman heals you before you go.
Ah, thanks. I can get some healing slaps. That's the most I could have had ever. I'm back up to 7. Ah, much better. Thank you.
Alright.
Little bit nibbled on. Wasn't feeling great.
Wouldn't want your spirit to get corrupted.
Haha! Hardly.
Harder when we have such strong flesh shells.
Haha!
So you hop back to the boat and you sail back over to your parents' house.
Don't you flip us now, brilliance.
Oh!
Don't you do it.
Like you could use some water.
The water is stinky and brown.
Yeah.
It's
I
gross.
can identify pure water. That's not it.
Water's gross, and I only have a light dress up in this.
Oh no.
Brr. Okay,
Won't do it.
and so you get back to the dock.
Won't do it. Would be rude. Very tempting though.
By the time you get back, you notice that both Luster and Charm have returned, and everybody's chatting enthusiastically and getting ready for a grand feast of dinner.
Oh yay.
So,
There'd have to be. There's that many of us.
yeah.
There's 7 of us at the best of times. Now there's
7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
yep.
Now there's 11 of
Now
them.
there's 11. It's like Sully's house.
Yeah, it's a big family. Right. So, what would everybody like to do?
Eat.
You gonna wait for dinner? You gonna stay here until dinner and eat?
Well, I mean,
Socialize?
she said not to worry about the woods as much, that we could, but we have tomorrow to do that. They're probably not going to
Mention it
corrupt
the woodsman.
overnight.
They'll probably end up going back out later anyway.
Yeah. We'll leave a note for them because they're not at their houses, so.
They won't be able to read it.
No. I guess we could go out and hang out by the woodsmen's houses and wait for them to get home.
They probably would have come in when they heard the bell, so there's probably a lot of them still here.
Do you want to go look for them?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's go look for the woodsman. Sorry, Mommy. Be back soon.
Don't worry, but dinner's in an hour.
All right.
And so you head out to the town.
We'll be late.
Kurt says, I want to come.
It's your daughter. Don't look at me.
I was going to ask you if you wanted to come, sweetheart.
Yes!
Talking to Charm at that point.
Talking to Charm. Oh, says Curran. No, I have to stay here and fight with my twin.
He didn't even come out. He just hung about the basement.
He didn't even come out to help you fight. He didn't come out to raise a militia.
Alright, well, I'll take courage then.
All right. Don't let her get into any trouble.
We're just going to see the woodsman. We're not even leaving town.
All right. And so both of you and a 5-year-old head off to the village.
No, Garen, put your coat on. It's cold outside.
No, it isn't.
Take your coat.
Okay. She runs off ahead of me down the path.
Now we've brought the backup team. No,
Back up.
no one can mess with us now. We've got backup. The cavalry's here.
I'm electric.
Sure are.
All right. You
It's electric.
and so it is that you head into the town square. Now the town is very sparse. There are no shops really in town.
We're at the shop.
Yeah, you're the shop when you get here. And other than that, people just sort of swap what they need.
Yeah.
So your dad has the tar pits
And the pitch and
and
whatever.
the pitch, etc. And the woodsmen bring in the logs and firewood and things like that. And the farmers have the food. And everybody trades until everybody's satisfied, essentially.
Right.
So there's no shops or anything. What there is one large, long building. That's the town hall. It's
Mhm.
just pretty much a big, empty place where everybody can gather. Next, very close to the town hall, is the graveyard. There's burial mounds there for generations of townspeople past.
Right.
And very near there as well is the village tavern and the innkeeper, which is one of the few people who has a service type job in the town. They don't really produce anything except for lots and lots of beer. So everybody's quite willing to trade
There's
things.
a barley woodling in there.
Lots and lots of beer. Everybody's quite willing to trade to make sure that the innkeeper family stays in business.
Yeah.
A lot of the townspeople, since it was already very close to the dinner hour when the alarm bell was rung, aren't immediately headed back to their various tasks unless they had something that they needed to finish up imminently. You notice that the tavern doors currently stand wide open, and there's several people just in there chatting or having an early brew. In the case of a few people who are particularly...
Gotta take a break from drinking tonight to go to the town hall meeting, so better get an early start.
Yeah.
My drinking will have an intermission tonight.
Yeah. So if the woodsman did indeed come in with any speed, they might be in there.
Might as well have a look.
Might as well have a look. Alright. When you enter, since you grew up here,
Yeah.
people know you. Immediately they get slapped on the back.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah, there's people in there.
Fellas!
The various farmhands, people who are your age, who are probably friends of yours when you grew up. Doing wild young person things in the forest.
Fellas!
Yeah. And
Good
you
to see
immediately
you.
bought a drink, whether you ask for one or not. Somebody does it.
Drinking it!
Put it in your hand. Yeah, they cheers you. They're happy to see you. And there's a few people who know you as well, Bianca, because you lived here for 2 years at one point. It's been a while though, so a little quieter of a greeting, but everybody's happy to see you.
I brought back my sister's ball and chain!
Yeah!
I get it.
You get hit.
Didn't hurt.
I want beer.
Oh, that's right, you're here. Oops.
There are kids here in the town.
That's right,
Some
fine.
of the older ones are probably drinking beer.
Well.
They probably don't have really very much thought towards whether or not that's a good idea.
You're not old enough for beer.
When you're 8.
When you're 8. God.
Not when she's 8, brilliant.
I'm gonna go play in the graveyard then. No taboo.
Don't break anything.
I'm gonna climb everything.
Don't upset the dead people now.
Don't break anything.
Okay! Your daughter with no charisma runs off to go and climb around on gravestones. And burial mounds.
She's a spirited little child. Let her do.
You spot a few of the huntsmen in here.
Okay.
One second, I'm chewing.
Me too.
Not the best candy to get me while I'm trying to dungeon master.
Evening, fellows. Finish your food.
Brilliant, so that's you.
That's me.
In from the woods.
Already.
Already.
Hardly seems like it's been way too long.
And here we rushed into town thinking there was going to be a big fight. By the time we get there, you've taken care of it.
We handily defeated the
It's alright,
monster.
I rescued him after it knocked him out.
It did. It tried to eat me. Got darn close. Things have tried to eat me before, though.
Well, it's a good thing you had your sister's ball and chain to, save your life.
Yes, it swings.
Don't hit me. Just a simple woodsman, man.
We are a bit worried about potential consequences to the forest, though, because of said monster
Do you want to explain?
having bumped about. Yes.
Okay. Everybody seems a little worried as you explain the concept of corrupted spirits. Well, it isn't foreign to all of them. Most of them don't know about it in detail, much like you didn't, until Grandma took the time to...
Grandma and the shaman.
Yeah, took the time to explain. So, having listened to your explanation, they seem suitably worried. Well, yeah, we'll go and we'll see what the forest spirits have to say. I mean, tree spirits don't much like me. The guy who says that is a woodcutter.
Yeah.
But,
Perhaps you shouldn't be the one to do the chatting.
I will go and soothe the someone else. But yeah, we can go and take a look around. What do we do if we see one, though?
That's corrupted?
Yeah.
I would say let people know.
Run for it.
Yeah, come back, let people know.
Alright.
We can deal with it as it's necessary.
Alright. Let you know.
Well, let the townspeople know.
They can
Myself
be
is a good
Fight in
option.
a group.
Yeah, myself is a good option. Luster, Bianca, Charm, the Charmin.
All the fun wonderfuls.
Yeah, whoever.
Okay.
Yeah, take your pick of the people who are qualified.
Well, I'd say I'd go at you with my ideas today, but last time we had a old four knocked me on my arse, so
Yeah.
I'm not gonna argue.
I wouldn't recommend.
Oh, brilliant.
I'm not saying you couldn't deal with it. I'm just saying there are people who are more qualified to do so.
Shall I buy you a trumpet instead of that lute? You blow your own horn a little more.
Goodness. Just a second, I need to get a drink.
Okay. Well, we dealt with it. We deal with monsters somewhat regularly.
No, I've heard.
Like any sensible people, we try to avoid the monster.
I'm not saying that we would rush at any monster. I'm just saying that if there was a monster that needed to be dealt with, of the people who can deal with it, we're very qualified.
Yes.
Our monster slaying resume is long.
Well, longer.
See, if anything, you don't give yourself enough credit. Can't be shy about these sort of things.
Second, coming.
Gotta stand up. Got to say, monster needs to be murdered. I'm your man, woman. Mineral plant.
Well, I'm not a man. And
Man, woman, mineral plant.
I have children, so I'm not about to go rushing every what for.
No. No one said you had to.
Alright, I'm back. Well,
Sweet. Something to be said for charging hither and yon stabbing things.
Yes, we usually call those people sociopaths.
No. When do you call me that?
You know, every now and then.
Oh, alright then. Well, now we've got it out in the open, at least.
things have been rough around here while you're off gallivanting in the forests.
Oh, really? Well, the river,
It's the river.
that's an issue.
Well, how are we supposed to do things? I mean, we don't have a well here. We've always had the river.
Well, the shaman's going to speak to the river this evening, and perhaps we'll find out then something more about what's gone on with it.
Yes, and hopefully we can get it fixed. But living with it like this has been a trick, even just for a few weeks. And where you're supposed to wash clothes, they all come out smelling like muck.
Huh.
Does everyone have the rain catchers set up then?
Yes, of course. Catching some rain, but it hasn't rained very much. A few months.
Hmm.
We'll get more rain.
Maybe you ought to break out some more of the beer. Drink a little less and drink a little more, so to speak.
Yeah, it'll run out eventually. We can't wash clothes in beer.
We can't. Did we come from upriver?
You came from the north, so you weren't going along the river for the last few months.
No.
You haven't noticed.
We hadn't noticed anything from where we came, but that doesn't mean that anything wasn't up there.
Or should we go north?
You weren't upriver. You would have been technically downriver.
Oh, okay, the river flows that
out
way?
towards the North Sea.
Okay.
So you would have been downriver.
Oh.
Actually, even when your family was trading, you've only been ever a little bit upstream from this, e.g. the time that you got washed down.
I had a bad experience. We stopped doing it.
But you never went very far to the west. Wonderfall is one of your furthest west destinations.
Okay.
Anyway. So, you want to stay and chat for a little while there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Well, they're notified, and they're clearly not going anywhere. I'm going to go check
Well-
on my daughter.
Okay.
All right. I'll be here.
Make sure she didn't break anything.
She's not breaking anything, but she is climbing on top of burial mounds and seeing if she can jump from burial mound to burial mound. And they're pretty high.
So, limited success.
Success, a little bit of bruising. She'll probably be fine.
Well, then I'll play with her a little bit, maybe a little bit less actively because it's a graveyard.
Okay.
And then after a little while, I'll take her home.
Alright. So you do that. And you stay and chat to all your old buddies?
Yep. Stay and chat with the fellas.
It's not long before the huntsmen, etc., head off to go and do the checking that you recommended that they do. But other people stay behind and converse with you for a while. And then, after about an hour has passed, you head back home to be with the whole fam and have an amazing dinner.
Yay.
Lucretia von Wonderful. Alright. So, the town doesn't seem to be in any more immediate danger and sort of settled into sort of a peaceful atmosphere.
Okay.
And you're just sort of getting ready to head towards the town hall since it's almost nightfall when the shaman said everybody should gather. When one of the hunters that you spoke to at the tavern just earlier comes and knocks on the door.
Okay.
We saw a few more of the things. We took care of them.
Really?
They were little.
Huh.
They weren't quite like the one you talked about, but they were like little water snakes with blackness in them.
Oh.
And we swatted them. They were tiny. Got them a good stomp. Swoosh, gone.
Huh.
But there's a bunch of them out there.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
I suppose those could be little currents and things, potentially.
Squirrels and eddies.
Yeah.
Swirls and eddies. Little me's, says Current.
Different
Kind of
currents.
current, love.
No fun. Okay. Do you want to go and do anything or look around for anything like that, or do you want to head towards the town hall?
Town hall.
Town hall? Okay. Everybody's going. The whole family. Grandma, the kids. It's town hall meeting. And soon the whole village is packed in the huge long house where the town hall meeting takes place. Everybody's chatting about having seen little monsters and things.
Yeah.
And Luster's telling everybody about how he practically single-handedly took out,
Good for him.
I'm not going to say anything.
No.
Everybody's calling him on it anyway.
Let him go.
It doesn't matter because everybody's calling him on it.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Everyone's calling him on it, and a number of people here would have already heard the other story.
Exactly. Alright. And the shaman is there, setting up her ritual at one end of the room. Is there anything you want to be doing or anyone you want to be talking to, or...
In specific? No, I'm just waiting to hear what she has to say about the thing, so...
I'll offer to help her set up since I...
know a few ritual stuff. Well, do you know, I do need someone who can ask questions of the river spirit while I'm channeling its power. I don't suppose you'd want to volunteer for that.
Alright, I suppose.
If you're not sure what to ask, just remember we need to know what's wrong with it, at the root cause. As much detail as you can get out of it, though spirits tend to be a bit cryptic. You know how they are.
Yes, tea spirits. A little bit calmer to deal with, but no less clear.
You could always get brilliance to help you. Or charm.
Well, they'll be there too, so...
Well, everybody will be there. It's whether or not you standing in my Sunday circle will be able to ask questions. Let me just get this done. And everybody chatters as she finishes up her ritual paintings and things. Do you want to be one of the ones to ask questions? You're gonna leave that to...
I'll come in.
No, you
Aha! Now I'm involved.
for sure. Be involved.
Gonna help.
Right.
Happy to help.
And so, as the room falls to a hush, the shaman announces, I will call upon the river spirit. We'll take the time to ask what is wrong with it, what it needs. If anyone has questions, shout them out to Bianca here and Brilliance, who kindly volunteered to perform the questioning. And they'll ask as many questions as they can as well. And I'll channel the spirit for as long as I can, but his energy is always a little bit hard to hold on to. Slippery, that river. Now, I'd like it if everyone could remain quiet, she says. And the hush falls over the gathered townsfolk, except for a few kids who continue being noisy. Like yours. Current, quiet down.
Current, sweetheart, it's time to be quiet now.
Charm struggles. Alright. So, as she performs the summoning, you can hear a faint rushing sound, and after a little while, a trickle of water seeps in to the town hall underneath the door. The townspeople step aside to allow the thin trail of water that leads all the way from the doorway to reach the circle that the shaman has drawn. You can see that the muck-colored water is still muck-colored here as part of the spirit's body as it gathers itself up. And like a giant serpent, it coils around the area and soon manifests, as much as the river spirit really ever does, inside of the circle. Now, when you were younger, you saw some times when the river spirit was called upon, and it came as a serpent that was vast and huge and seems to be moving and rushing. This entity that comes is still recognizable as the river spirit, but is very small, almost the size of, well, I say it's very small, it's comparatively small. Think like a very, very large boa constrictor.
Okay.
Anaconda.
Yeah.
And doesn't seem to have much movement involved except when it moves itself. It's not flowing as much as you're used to seeing it. And it coils up and it shimmers a little bit. There's water droplets hanging in the air around it. And the shaman is doing her ritual to commune with it. And so when it appears, it looks around and it sort of coils around the shaman. And then it sits there waiting. And you can sort of hear a whispering sound in your mind. Probably everyone in the town hall can hear it. It's the voice of the river spirit. And so you think that you probably could ask questions now.
Okay.
Shaman's now occupied with manifesting the entity.
Hello, River Spirit.
Hello, Bianca.
You seem to be looking a little worse for wear.
I'm very ill.
Whatever's happened to you?
I'm dying.
That's
a little
that's
bit more
not
than
good.
that.
What of?
Soon the river will run dry. My time has come.
Is there anything we can do to stop that?
Another spirit up the stream has had a fight with me, and it has won.
What other spirit?
It is the spirit of man's river. It is very strong now, and I am weakening.
Is there anything we can do to help? What will happen? I mean, obviously, if you die, then the village here is going to be in a lot of trouble, and so will all of the spirits that are around here. They all kind of rely on you.
I know, and I don't want to go, but it is dangerous for me to stay past my time.
That's true. How long do you have? Could we go up river and deal with this?
There is still time. I may persist for A year or so more, but I will dwindle. There will always be some water here. And I hope you'll all be fine without me. There's whispering all over the frickin' town hall now. People are freaking out.
What happened? This fight? How does that manifest? Did you just get summoned to did something get summoned to fight you?
Man's River was born and is much more powerful than I. The spirit of our source is giving its force to Man's River and not to me.
So somebody redirected.
Redirected the water flow. I see.
The spirit doesn't seem to understand what
That's
you just
fine.
said.
That's different frames of reference. So if we go
It
up
has happened in the place where I am born. In the mountains.
in the mountains,
Far to the west.
Humans.
they rerouted the river. So if we went up to the river and we routed the water back down you would be fine.
I don't understand your question, but if
The source was giving
the
you
spirit
the
of my
water.
source gave its water back to me, then my health might return.
All right then. Good to know.
But it is very unlikely. This sort of thing sometimes happens to rivers. It is all part of the natural course.
But if the waters of your source returned to you and you didn't get better, a new river would be born.
That's true. It would forge a new bed. And if I had died before the new river was born, before the water flowed, then a new river spirit would take my place.
All right.
I like this town, and this town's spirit is kind. But you must be prepared to leave if you have no water here.
Right. That's very true.
What about any underground river spirits?
They are very deep. And most of them feed me a little. There might still be a stream here. But there are other spirits being added to me.
Spirits of what?
They are very small spirits, but they spread quickly. They are like your tar spirits.
Is that what's changing your color?
Yes, I think so. It also comes from my source. Many of them are dying before they get here, but some persist.
Interesting.
So these humans have stolen the river's source and are polluting it.
That seems likely. Well, we will do what we can to help you.
Well, that's very kind. But if I do fade, just remember it is in the natural way.
Oh yes, of course.
Very good.
Except for, that it's man-made, so it's sort of not.
Man-made things are from nature too.
Alright. Duly noted.
Change is change, but this is a bad change.
This is not good.
A bad change for one may be a good change for another.
Yes, but we're the one. So.
The spirit has no particular reaction to this, even though I am laughing.
Yes, but we're the one. So, we don't prefer the bad thing. Alright then.
Ask it about the monsters.
Oh, yes. We can't help but notice that there are some corrupted spirits wandering your bed and surrounding area.
some of the creatures and spirits that occupy me are less pleased with the natural course. And are refusing it.
And they're becoming, yes.
Is there anything we can do to calm them while this is taken care of? Obviously, it wouldn't do to have them running amok and hurting other spirits that aren't dying, like the trees or the rest of the forest.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what other spirits want to do to be calm. I've never thought of it. It seems puzzled. I like the sound of running water. That makes me feel calm. Maybe you could do that for them.
Well, we'll give it a shot.
Worth a try?
Alright. Are you done asking questions?
Yes.
Alright. A few townspeople step forward and they shout out a few more mundane questions about day-to-day things for you to ask to the spirit, which is generally pretty usual for the few times that the shaman does summon the spirit. And it's able to answer them to a certain degree. Some people ask fortune-telling style questions, like that sort of thing.
Okay.
The spirit doesn't tend to be able to answer them with very much accuracy or clarity. But it doesn't stop them from asking.
The outlook looks good.
Ask again later.
I think you will. Will I be wed? You seem a nice sort.
You have a good way about you. Surely someone will like you.
What about me?
No.
No.
We've been over this before.
Yeah. You could always marry each other. Anyway.
The two men look at each other. Nah.
No.
Alright. So, for a little while longer this goes on until the shaman is no longer capable of channeling the spirit.
Okay.
And then she lets it go. He watches the water recedes out the door. Well, this has been very bad news, says the shaman to everyone, and they sort of nod in a subdued sort of way. I'll need to reflect this evening on what can be done about the problem, if indeed there is anything to be done. And I suggest you all do the same. And as people start asking questions, and she converses with them about this and
Do
that.
any of the farmers have wells?
Some of the farmers do, but most of the water that they have are the irrigation trenches dug from the river to where they have their crops and things.
Well, crops obviously will have a lot of trouble, but there needs to be at least drinking water for people. So if more wells need to be dug, they should probably get started on that.
You want to mention that to townspeople?
Yeah.
Right? You mention that. Soon you have a few people around you who are sort of discussing the issue of digging wells and figuring out who's going to do it. Just by mentioning it, you become a part of the discussion. And what about yourself?
The answer to me seems fairly simple. I mean, Bianca provides a great idea for how to keep people in the town generally healthy while the problem gets sorted, but...
You saying this to just somebody?
Yeah, just...
To your brother or something?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's something, but the obvious answer is to go upstream and fix it.
Well, yes, of course.
Yeah.
Otherwise, one falls somewhat done for in that regard.
Well, we can't allow that to happen. So we'll make sure that it's sustainable while we go, and then
All
we'll
the way
go.
to the mountains, says your mother.
Yes,
All the way to the mountains!
yes.
My dear!
And then up the mountain to the source of the river.
Up the mountains to the river!
Well, yes, that seems the logical thing to do.
But there's no one here who could do that.
Well, we'll do that.
You can't do that.
Why not?
Because you'll die.
I will not.
You could.
I will not either.
Well, you could, and you're my baby and I won't have it.
Well, I mean, we're the most mobile group.
I won't have it. The shaman, overhearing, is a plausible solution to our issue. But I do need to think about it further.
Alright.
You're not doing it, says Lucretia.
I hear your opinion, and I understand your concern.
Humans tend to be rather difficult to negotiate with in a lot of ways. They're rather pig-headed. So if we can't ask them to return at least a portion of the source of the river, we can't also fight them. So we need to know what we're doing.
It's true. Humans are dangerous. You can't possibly fight a whole city of them.
No. The plan is not necessarily to go up there and just fight every human.
Well, what if every human wants to fight you? I hear they're crazy.
Well, then we'll have to deal with that problem when we come to it, won't we?
Well, there are other ways. I mean, they diverted the river. We could always take another source from the source.
Potentially.
I mean, it seems odd that they would have chosen to redirect the river entirely as opposed to making their own source anyway, since they presumably made their own riverbed from the sounds of it.
Well, and the fact that they're polluting it is its own sort of problem.
Well, yes.
People are then discussing whether or not indeed it was humans, or what it could be for sure, and what if it's this, or what if it's that kind of thing. It could be trolls. They're pesky. That sort of discussion.
They live under bridges.
Eat goats.
Only sometimes.
The bridges go over rivers. They would need the river.
This seems like a false argument.
I believe she's toying with you, sir.
Right. I knew that.
Well, yes. Yes. Wait until we get permission, and if we don't get permission, perhaps do it anyway.
Just do it anyway.
This is the one wonderful way.
The permission you're waiting for is your mother. It's not the Von Wonderful
No,
Way.
I'm waiting
She's
for
the
I'm waiting for the shaman's permission. She said that this was debatably.
She's making a course of action.
Well, presumably that part of that will be permission to go upriver. If we're not waiting for that, then I frankly don't know what we're waiting for.
We have children with us.
I
Williams.
know.
You can't just off it away.
You actually can.
This whole issue reminds me of a story, says your mother.
Oh, good. I hope it's helpful.
Well, it might be more discouraging than helpful.
Well, that's Dawn.
Perhaps I'll save it for later then.
All right then.
Maybe don't say it in front of Lucretia, if anything.
Very well. It's a good story.